So what I'll suggest everyone is you guys should just open this Linux starter web page as well. So I'll just quickly kind of go through it in command, and you guys open up the terminal and start. 1 second. Okay, so you guys should log in and go to system tool, LX terminal. There are different type of terminals, but stick to this so that way um, we're one-to-one compatible. I'll just zoom, make this a little larger. Okay, so okay, like I said, this is so what I'll do is maybe just quickly show you few of the things which we do very regularly in a Linux terminal, and then we'll go through it and just touch base on some of the stuff I haven't covered and all that. Okay, so this is what's called your home directory. Okay, and by the way, this is what's called a shell prompt. Okay, just telling you, and you can set this in your .bash rc to a different style. So let's say you just want to see your directory and not see your name. So this tells you right away you're logged in as Saroj, and this is actually the instance name, which is indecipherable code. But you can customize this in all sorts of fashion. You can have your date here, your file sizes, this and that, the directory names, which is encoded here. So that's actually, if you open the .bash rc, there is an environment variable called ps1. So this variable sets that prompt. Okay, so you see this debian root blah 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 33. This is a format to create that, and you can see that if I log on to a directory, then that directory name also comes here. So that way you know that you are actually in this directory as well, and you can customize this. So look for PS customization in Bash, and you'll see that. No, you don't need to. So Sandhya, you don't need to create the library. When you clone it, it will automatically create the library. So what is, sir, instead of dash, I created SI2103 VISI, my directory name. Will I create another directory in another file? So Sandhya, did you clone it or not?
Yes.
If you cloned it, it should have automatically named it. How did it become VISI?
Sir, it is showing BL, that L is in small L.
No,
So,
but that you must have changed it yourself, because if you cloned it, it would automatically just put this name. It will not change any cases or all that. So this is what I'll suggest. Just delete that, clone it again. Okay. So
okay,
maybe
sir.
that's the first command I can show you guys. So let me just go here and make sure I have everything up to date.
Sir, in Bash RC coding also, I am writing that B small L cap SI. Then I have to start from the beginning.
Well, if you gave there, then you shouldn't be able to clone at all, because that doesn't exist. Subrajit is saying, sir, when I'm clicking Vim, how can you click? vim.rc, the file is empty. Yeah, so you've just deleted it. I don't know how you deleted it. Somehow you just deleted it. Um, I don't know which directory are you looking in. You have to look it in your home directory. Okay, so you look in your home directory and type .vim.bash rc. So you guys must have just deleted it by accident. I'll put this in the GitHub. You can copy it again when you clone it, but for now, just follow. We'll come to that. Okay, so Sandhya, you can delete your directory. So you can see when I type ls, it shows all the directories in my home directory. And if you want to find out the home directory, you do pwd. Um, so what I would suggest everyone right now is, I know you guys have problems, just hang on. Okay, let me go through this and then we'll come back to your problems. Maybe it'll solve some of your problems while I'm going through this. Um, So you can see the directories. These are the directories, and they're just like directories in your, the way you see in your Windows, right? When you go into your Windows browser and, you see these folders. So your directories are nothing but your folders. Like here, you can see that I can see it with the Windows browser. But like I said, don't use this. I don't want you to touch any visual stuff during this lab. Everything you should do it command line. So ls is basically telling you all the directories which are available in this present working directory which you are in right now. How do you find out which folder you are in? You do pwd. Okay, if you do pwd, you can see it's /home /Saroj. So and if I go back one directory up, you'll see okay, because this is an instance. So anyways, so this tells you that and the first slash is what's called a root directory. So that's a root directory, and if you do ls, you see these are all your root files. You don't have permission to do anything here. This is only the root will have permission. And you can see there is a folder called project 2020. That's where all our projects are. And I mean, all the tools are EDA tools. So CPP SimLite, CPP SimLite, forget about it. That's in your home directory. Magic, NetGen, ngSpice, and the technology files are all here. So we'll be referring to this directory for some of the files. But for the tools, they're automatically set in that .bash rc. All you have to do is type Magic, NetGen, ngSpice, and they should work. Okay, so now if you do a pwd, you can see I'm in this directory /project 2020/EDA. If you want to go to your home directory, you obviously can type cd/home/Saroj, like that's my home directory, but you can just simply type cd. If you just type cd, it takes you automatically to your home directory. So you can see that I'm back in the home directory. And one way to know from your prompt is you see this tilde sign. This tilde sign tells you that you're in your home directory. Okay, so just do cd. And let's say now I want to go back to the directory I came from, project ed. Okay, there is a very simple Linux command which I didn't know for a while, is you do cd space minus. Okay, if you do that, you can see I'm back to uh, /project 2020 and then if you do cd again, you're back in the home directory. If I do cd minus again, I'll go back to that directory. So this is a good way if you're going back and forth between two directories. You can just keep doing cd minus and you'll go back and forth between those directories. um, cd space minus. Praveen, is that a question or you're just telling me? Do you have a question for the cd minus? Okay, good. So so cd is basically change directory, short for change directory. So if you're changing between directories, then and ls is for doing listing your directory. And ls has a lot of options, but two of the main options you're going to use is ls minus l and minus al. So if I do ls minus l, it's called the long format. Okay, so now you can see the directories, but there are a lot of other information, and I will go through these informations. um, you can see for each directory, it shows you the first column is the permissions. Okay, these are the permissions, and I'll go through the permissions soon. And this one, just ignore it. That's the user level. And this is basically tells you who owns the file, and this tells you which is the group which can access this file depending on the settings here. And this is just telling you how many bytes is the directory node containing. It's not the content inside. So 496 bytes, or 4 kilobytes is the just the size of the node, and which the timestamp, which date and the time it was created in. Okay, and if you modified it, so you can see for the rest of the directory also you have the same thing. Okay, now the other thing you're going to use, other option you're going to use ls a lot is -a, which is basically tells you to uh, um, show all the files. And when I mean by all the files, you can see now when I did ls -a, I got all the files which I saw before: desktop, documents, downloads, all that. But then you see, I see all these files, and if you notice, all these files which were hidden before has a dot before it. Okay, and you see all those dot files, and it could be directories. So all the blue colors are actually directories. So that's part of bash ls color. So that's also set in .bash rc. You can set it to change colors and do different types of things. If you don't set the colors, then they'll all be always white. So it kind of helps. So you can see the directories are all blue, executables are in green, images will be in pink, zipped files will be in red, and so on. So these dot files are called what are called hidden files. So these hidden files are mostly, like .bash rc. You can see that .bash rc is here. You just don't want to clog your listing, so that's why they put it, because most of the time you don't need to know what these files are. These are system files. They're behind working, so you don't need to access them. But you can see them. If you want to see them, you do ls -a. And then same thing, you can, if you do ls -al, then it will list everything in long format. So a is for all, l is for long format. So you can now see that it's listing everything in long format. And now you can see all the permissions and groups and users and all that for each of the files. Okay, now if I just quickly explain about the permissions. So each of the directories are files. So I could have files. I don't in this particular directory, I don't have files, but I could have files here too. So each of the directories or the files, you can see there are 10 sort of positions, and for each 10 of these positions there is a letter annotations for it, or letter representation for each of this position, telling you the permissions and the type of file it is. Okay, so if you see here, the desktop, the first one says D, and D simply means it's a directory. Okay, so because before all these color codings were there, that's how people recognize this. Okay, if I do ls -l, I can find out if it is a directory or not, or just simple file. The next 9 are permissions, and they're sets of three sets of uh, 3 permissions. And you can see the first one, so rwx, so the permission is basically read, write, x is for executable. So if R is on, that means it's readable. If W is on, or it is, you can see it, it's writable. If X is on, then it's executable. Executable is if it is executable file. And directories need to be always executable. It's just the way Linux and Unix, uh, you know, classify directories. Um, so so you have the same thing, same sets of three here. Now, what are the different? Why are there 3 columns for read, write, executable, read, write, executable? The first one is the owner. Okay, so you can see. So like I said, here the owner is the user Saroj, which is me, right? So I own this directory, which means that I am allowed to read, write, and execute. Okay, so if this was read dash x, That means I can only read it, but I cannot do any writes, in the sense that I cannot create new files inside this folder or delete this folder. I can't do all that. Okay. So it tells me that. So usually, your owners should always have read write X. The second one is what's called group. Okay. What is a group permission? So you can see the group here is also Saroj. Now that's because these systems are just one single user system. Like for example, I can't see your directory, you can't see my directory. They're just separate. So it's like 66 different Linux desktops are running right now. We are not sharing anything. So, but in Unix, you can create groups. Okay. Like for example, let's say we were running this lab in our VLSI lab system, and I was giving you permission to some of our sensitive stuff. Then what I would do is I would put you guys in a group. I would make a group called CMOS, right? That's the course name. You can name anything you want, name, and then make this group belong to CMOS, like this document group. Let's say this is what I want to read it, and then give this permission. I would say give only read and execute permission. Don't give writable permission to any of the participants. So that way you guys can, anyone in that group, in the CMOS group, will be able to go in and read all the files and do everything, but they won't be able to change anything. Okay. So these are the granularities which are given to control permissions for different directories and files and so on. Okay. And the last one is for everyone. Okay. So basically, if I just say read write executable, then all this really doesn't matter, because it just says that. So like for example, here it says read write X. That means everyone can read this thing. Actually, I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. There are actually there are special types of users and groups which are system groups. For them you need to set permissions here, but for now just remember that is for everyone. Okay. Is this clear, or anything you don't understand for this part of it? I mean, you don't need to know uh, for this lab as much, because you won't be giving out permissions and all that, but it's just good to know, so that way, tomorrow if you are not able to go into a directory or write something, then you just do ALS minus AL, and if you don't have permission, that's why it's complaining. Okay. All right. Clear, sir. Okay, good. Um, okay, so this is listing. I think that's all I'm going to do. Now, in order to change directories, so I think everybody knows how to change directories now. Um, you type cd. So cd is basically change directory. Now, let's say I want to go into the directory desktop, or let's go to the directory of our clone directory. Actually, before I do that, I forgot. I wanted to show I think it was Priyanka, right? So let me introduce that command right now. So like I just said, I already have this JIT repo replicated. If some of you have messed up or anything like that, or you can do RM. Okay, so this is remove minus RF. So basically this tells you RM is for removing a file or a directory. If you're removing a file, you just type RM and the file name. If you're removing a directory, then you want to say, I want to recursively remove it. So you do minus R, and F is force it. In case there is a file which is belonging to someone or anything, just force it and delete it. So if I do that and I type the directory name, and one great tool for uh, just you being lazy or being more efficient is um, the tab completion. Okay. Use it, because it will save you a lot of time. So what I mean by that is I don't have to type the entire directory name here. Actually, you can see that I can just type. So let's type just tab. So in bash, if I just type tab, so type double tab. So those of you are have the terminal, do this. So just type RM or CD and double tab. And if you do that, you see it pops up all the directories. It's showing all the directories. Now I want to remove the SI 2021-03 CMOS VLSI library. So instead of typing the whole thing, I can type S and type tab. See, you completed the whole thing. Now, if there are two file names with starting with S, then it will list the two file names. So let's see what like desktop and documents and downloads. Okay. So if I want to remove, don't remove. I'm just showing this. So don't type rm minus rf that. So if I do rm minus rf and I just did D and did a tab, double tab twice, because once I do single, it's not completing. So I do twice. Then it shows that starting with D, there are three folders, right? Now you can see that the O after that is common to documents and downloads, and E is unique. So if I just type E and type tab, it will complete it. Whereas if I do DO and now do tab, then it'll show, oh, I still have to type at least one more later, because after DO, then DO is common, but C and W are unique. So if let's say I want to remove the documents folder, then I would type C and press tab and it will complete it. Okay. So, and this works for every command. So you type CD tab and it will go into that directory. So, okay, let's remove that directory. So some of you who have messed up your JIT folder and want to do it again, you can just follow me. So rm minus rf, and then like I said, because S, there is nothing starting with S, I can just type S and type tab, it completes it. I press enter and it's removed it. And remember, in Unix, if you remove it, there is no way to get it back. There is no control Z. That is one thing. So that's why in your remove command, you should all have, I think, uh, let me just try this. Oh, so this is not good. So in all your, okay, I'll show that later on. You should change your remove command
Sir,
to rm minus I. So if I
excuse me,
did
sir.
rm, yes.
Sir, what if we do only RM and type the name?
Yeah, that's what I'm showing. So if you do rm and you type downloads, so let's say you don't do that. It's dangerous. I'm just showing you. It shows you that downloads is a directory. So if you just do rm, you can only delete files. Okay. So for example, if I create a file called test, let's say, so you can see now I'll have a file called test. Sorry. So you can see that I have a file test right now. And if I want to delete this file, I can just do rm test, right? It deleted. Now the test file is gone. So, but it is dangerous to have this way. So usually I'll put an alias called, so now if I, for example, do create a file called test and I do rm minus I test, then you can see it's asking, should I remove this? So accidentally, if you typed it and then suddenly you see this, so like, oh, no, I don't want to remove it. And you say no, right? So that way it remains. So we should put this as a default in the aliases. So you can create aliases. So um, like, for example, if you go to your .bash rc, um, you should see a lot of aliases already there. Yeah, like all these aliases which are there. So ls is ls minus. So when you're actually typing ls, it's actually typing ls minus minus color is equal to auto. That's why you see all the colors. If you didn't have this alias, then everything would come out white. So you have some other aliases too, ll is ls minus alf, ls la is, so you can just type ll instead of time, and you see it shows up ls minus alf, the option instead of time, because that's a alias. And I'll show you how to add the alias. You just modify the, so we should put maybe I should show you this right now. If you go to your .bash rc, and let me go to the alias here, I'm going to add a alias here, and the alias is alias rm is equal to rm minus I. So from now on, when I type rm, it's actually going to type rm minus I. So now I have to source it, source the .bash rc. That's why I told people, if you don't want to go into sourcing and all that, you just exit this terminal, start all over again. Yeah, see, I get brc does not exist because my clone directory, I have deleted it. So, um, Okay, so now if I do create a file called test, and if I do ls, I see the test. Now if I do rm test, it'll ask me, see, because now it's actually executing rm minus I, because that's the alias I have put it in. All right, so people who have deleted and want to clone again, this is your chance. So git clone https colon // github.com silicon dash or hyphen VLSI SI capital S capital I 2021 dash or hyphen O3 dash CMOS dash VLSI. Okay, like as I said, if you're getting an error, just check your command, because JIT should be there for already in your thing, and do this in the home directory, right? So this is your home directory, home set. Don't do it in downloads, desktop, and all that. So now you see you have the entire directory now. And if you want to see the contents of the directory, you start going into the directory and browsing the directory. So for that, like I said, it's the command cd, and you can type s, like I said before. And if you're planning to go through many hierarchies, you just keep typing docs, and that's it. That's the only folder. So now you are in the docs. You can see all the files, all the PDF files here. Um, and if you want to go one directory up, it is cd dot dot. So now you're in the directory, the JIT directory, the CMOS VLSI / docs. If you want to go one directory up, you do cd dot dot. So dot dot always means one directory above. And if you see ls, you can see all the GitHub files, your license file, your README file, which is what actually renders and shows up in a nice format when you open your GitHub page. So that's that. And if you go to tools, for example, now cd tools, this is the cpp sim. And like I said, this is just to see. You have actually the permission to modify this, but don't do it, because if you do it, then when you do a JIT pull, it'll say merge and all that. You will basically mess up everything. In that case, you just delete it and do a clone again, because you should not be touching this directory at all. Um, oh, I'm sorry. Um, um, Except the CPP sim lite. There are some folders here which, when you um, open your this thing, what do you call it? Um, Sudo browser, it will create actually files in this, which is part of the GitHub. But that's okay. You can those anything which shows a change in CPP sim lite, you just ignore it. But you should not um, be specifically using anything here. Keep your lab folder separate and all that. Okay, so that's changing directories. What else want to say? So that's mostly what you want to do. Okay, maybe let me go through quickly the tutorial. Um, okay, PWD is present working directory. I think we just done that a couple of times right now. So you can see here it says the text leading up to the dollar or the hash sign. Don't worry about the hash sign. Is known as the command prompt. Okay, so I think yesterday somebody was trying to actually type this in this part. Okay, this is till that dollar sign. That's what's called the command prompt. So till this sign here, that's the command prompt. So that's what is set by that variable called ps1 in your .basrc, which I was showing you earlier. Okay, so that's your the PW command output. This means so you can see, as I said, the first slash means that that's the beginning of the top level directory. That's where everything begins. The entire file system begins here. Okay, all your folders are below this directory. Like for example, if you want to do the Windows equivalent, it's like your C colon, right? When you go to C colon, if you have one driver, let's say, So that's, you can imagine that this is your C colon in Linux. Okay, CD, I think we have seen sort of enough. To move down a directory, to switch to a subdirectory, use period instead of current working directory is complete. So yeah, like CD dot dot is um, CD dot dot goes to one directory above your present working directory. CD dot means is the present directory. So a lot of times, like for example, if there is a executable command in your present directory, you have to explicitly say dot slash whatever si blah blah and so on. So if I want to do CD, I can do dot slash si and so on. So dot means present directory, but that's pretty much implicit in most commands, so we don't have to type it except in a few commands. So you can see, like here it says dot desktop images, or you can give the complete path too. So you can go cd slash home saroj si 2023, I mean si 2021-03 blah blah, and that will also take you there as well. But obviously you are already in the home directory, so you don't have to type that. Uh, to move up in the current directory, one way is to use the cd command with complete path. Yeah, so basically he's saying you can always give the complete path to go anywhere. So like as I showed, you go to cd si and you go to the docs folder. Now you want to go just, so if you do a pwd, so you are in home saroj si 2021-03-cmos. If I want to go one level up, I can always do cd slash home saroj si, and this will take you. But this is obviously a long way to do that. Easier way is you just do cd dot dot and you'll come back to one folder up. Okay. So faster way is move dot dot, and you can keep doing this mini folder, like you can see here. If I, so let's go to few depths of it. So let's say I go to SI tools, CPP sim light. So I'm in this folder now. So let's say I want to go now to the docs folder. Okay. So I want to go CMOS 2021's, I mean 2021-03 CMOS VLSI docs folder. So I can give the absolute path. I can give it with relative to my home directory, or I can go relatively. I can go dot dot. So I'm in tools directory now. Then I do dot dot. I'm in SI 2021-03, and you can do a tab here. So if we do double tab, you can see all the directories here are showing up. And then I do docs here, and then I go to the docs folder. So you can see, so you're kind of traversing up and down instead of giving absolute paths. So that's the other way to do it. And another way to cut short some of the typing is, let's say now I want to go to the home directory. So let's say I am in tools, CPP sim light. Now let's say I want to go to so I'm in my home directory. After the home directory, I'm in 3 folders deep down here in the CPP sim light. Now let's say I want to go to my desktop folder, and I know my desktop folder is in the home directory. So you can do cd, obviously you can do home Saroj desktop. You can cd that way, and you will come to your desktop directory. And now if I want to go back to that old directory, which was home Saroj 2021 tools CPP simlite, I can just simply type cd space minus, and I'm back to that old directory. And so now if I want to go to the desktop directory, obviously I can do cd minus. But let's say I want to go to the downloads directory right now. Instead of typing slash home saroj, I can just type tilde. Okay, tilde means it's your home directory, not somebody else's home directory. And then forward slash, and then downloads, and then now I'm in my download folder. Okay. So yeah, this one I did it yesterday, I guess. Okay, clear. Just stop me if you have any questions, but I would strongly recommend just keep doing whatever you can on the side. You guys all have access to right now, so just keep doing along with me. Okay, cd mass and tab. I've already showed you how to do the completion, learn how to work with files and directories. Um, so I don't have all kinds of files here, but you can see here when you do ls, like I said, this is the normal coding. So um, so green is basically saying these are executable. So you can actually execute this. So for example, if I wrote a Python code and I want to make it executable, I'll change the permission to executable, like you know how RWX, that's done through chmod. We'll come to that. um, and this will turn by green. You can see somebody wrote a C program called binary.c, compiled it and created a binary, and that binary is green here. But Linux doesn't automatically convert into binary. It doesn't know anything about files. But it just tells you if the permission is set to X, then it will make it green. But if it is a directory and it is set to X, then it will still keep it blue. Then you can see the tar files. These are actually zipped files. So if you have zipped or tar files, it is red, and then blues are obviously uh, your directories. And then if you have images like .jpegs, PNGs, and these kind of images, then they are pink. Okay, so here is a link. So text files are basically non these files is this. Links, I'll show you what links are in a little while. And then executables green, archives red, images pink, directories blue. Okay. Okay, file is a great command. So let me go to the terminal again. So file is a command. So if I do file star, star is a wildcard, which basically tells you everything. Okay. So for example, I can say D star, then it will uh, find. So it's basically saying all the files which exist in this directory, starting with D and followed by anything. So you can see all the um, files which are starting with D, and file tells you what kind of file it is. So you can see it's saying it's a directory here. And how does it find out? I mean, it's not magic in the sense that uh, but it is still very smart in the sense it doesn't just depend on the extension. It actually reads the file a little bit. Like let's say, for example, you take a .png file and you remove the .png and you did a file, it will actually still recognize it is a file because it will read the header and say, oh yeah, it looks like a PNG file. Whereas in Windows, for example, if you remove the .png, you'll see that it doesn't show up as a picture anymore. It just shows up as a text file because Windows just looks at the extension. But Linux file is a lot more, smarter than that. So let's look at some. So here, if I do file star, let's say I want to see what all these files. So you can see it says license is a ASCII text file. The readme.md is a Unicode text file. Bash.rc is a text file. Docs is a directory. Tools is a directory. Now let's go to docs. So I have two files and I want to know what these two files are types are. So you can see that it is actually reading and like I said, it's just not reading the .pdf. Even if I change this to something else, it'll still say it's a PDF document version 1.7 because if you look at the header, I mean the first few bytes of this um, PDF. These are the first few, kilobytes of PDF, and these are your headers. Actually, the file command reads these headers and figures out that, oh, it's a PDF A1 file. So that's when I do file star. So sometimes you come into a directory and you say, oh, I don't know what types of files are these. So you can do this and it'll tell you what files are. So let's look at some more. So here, if I do file star, so you can see it says directory, these are ASCII, and you can see this test.py, it says it's a Python script. Okay, so again, it just because it reads the first header, it's just not looking at the extension, it actually reads the first header and figures out that, oh, it looks like a Python code. So if I go, let's see if I have some more files, type of files. Um, let's see, binaries. Yes, there are a lot of binaries here, and if you want to find out what all these types, what kind of binaries, it actually tells you what kind of executables are this. So these are shell scripts. There's a directory here, and if there is you have a C file which has been compiled, it will actually tell you that it is a um, linkable whatever file that is, and so on. So it recognizes a lot of types of files, not everything. So here, for example, I think it will recognize the um, so you can see it says this is a Mac operating system 64-bit executable. This one is a P32 executable. This is a C source code. Um, so many. So it actually is pretty intelligent. It finds out a lot of C. You can see it says this is a C++ source. This is a C source. So a lot of these types of files. Okay. Any questions so far? Like I said, keep following me on the side. You may not if I'm going too fast, that's okay. You can watch the video later on, but at least get as much as you can. Okay, cat is the next command. Again, this is a pretty useful command. You guys have been doing vi.bashrc, right, to see the content of the file. If you don't want to open it, just want to see it on the screen, you can do cat.bashrc, and it will put all the contents on your screen. Now, the thing is that this content is much more than what uh, the screen can handle, so it just scrolls, so you couldn't see the top, right? But if it was a small file, for example, that basrc which I've included in the GitHub page, so basrc-eda, if you cat this, you can see that it starts from here. So these are all the environment variables which I've set. So you can, instead of opening the file, you can just do a cat, and it basically concatenate all the contents of the file. And the cat works for pretty much every file. I can do it for PDFs. So if I do cat si docs, um, so let's say useful parameters.pdf, you can see it's all unintelligent stuff, but you can see it just took the content byte by byte. It just put everything. So same thing, if you take a binary and do it, but then it'll crash your system because it's not a text file. So cat. Now, okay, now what if you want to, like for example, I did cat.basrc, and um, and it scrolled through, I couldn't see it. Or if you wanted to see just the end, like for example this, you just wanted to see last couple of lines, because you want to see if you added this which I gave it to you or not, then you do tail.basrc. Okay, so let me clear this so that way it's clear. So you do tail .basrc, and then you can see it took the 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, sorry, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 10 lines. So it actually spits out the last 10 lines, which is the default. But if you want, like, let's say, because I gave you 1 2 3 4 5 6 lines, so you say, let's say I want to just see the last 6 lines, so you do tail -6 .bashrc. Okay, then it just spits out the last 6 lines. So similarly, so you can obviously give as many lines you want. Similarly, you can do head. So if I want to just see the top 10 lines of the .bashrc or any text file, then let me clear it. So I do head, up arrow key. Yeah. So I think hopefully everyone knows by now. So up arrow key is basically goes through all the history of the commands you have typed in. So like, for example, I had typed already head, so I can do head.bashrc over here instead of typing it again. And you can see it actually spits out the first 10 lines. And if I want to see only the first 2 lines, let's say I do head -2 .bashrc, and it'll just spit out the 2 lines. So for example, if I just want to see a header of the file, then I just do this. So head and tail does this. And if you want to see the files but scroll through them, there are two more commands. It's called less or more. So if I do less.bashrc, then what will happen is it will put everything on your screen. You can see now the screen is full. So it starts from line 1 here and it stops here right now. And you can scroll through it by just pressing enter line by line. Okay. Or you can do space bar to go page by page. Okay, so I'm pressing space now, going page by page. And when you reach the end, you press Q and you'll come out of it. Um, most of the time in Linux, wherever you get completely stuck and you don't know what to do, Control C, it'll typically get you out. So it's a signal to basically kill a process. So Control C will process. Similarly, you can do more .bash. They're basically same. Actually, I forget what's the difference now. Oh yeah, so more tells you there is 16% of the stuff you have done, but it's the same like ls. Okay, and what did I show you? I just wanted to show you. I did head uh, more or less. Just forgot something I wanted to show you. Okay, so that's how you can see the contents of the files without actually opening it in some editor. And typically you want to avoid opening in editors because accidentally you might change it. And a lot of times, even when I'm opening in VI, for example, Vim, I'll do VIM minus R. Okay, and typically what I do is I add that in my bash rc with a different command name. So I'll add like alias, for example, alias, sorry, alias, I'll call it vim r is equal to vm minus r dash. So now if I want to open a file in read mode, I just do vim r dot bash rc, which is basically vim minus r dot bash rc. And no, hmm. Oh, actually, sorry, it's capital R. It's trying to do a recover. So it's vim minus capital R dot bash rc, I think. Yeah. So if you do that, you'll see that file opened in read-only mode right here. You can see it's read-only. So this way, if I accidentally try to, add something and save it, it'll say it's read-only. Don't do it. I think somebody must have accidentally done that today. I saw some messages in the beginning. So you just do Q colon star to get out. And so this you can actually put it as your alias. So so vim minus r is actually recover a swap file. So this should be capital R. So from now on, when I type vimr dot bash rc, let's say up, then by default, that command will actually open this in read-only mode. Okay, so these are different ways to read, just see the contents of the file without trying to modify it. Okay, just let me know if something just you have a small doubt which doesn't make sense. I think less I showed you. So you can actually pipe. There's a command called pipe, which basically it's a series of commands, one output going as an input to the next one. So for example, here it's shown. I showed you that less, you can do less dot bash rc bash rc and just see the file directly, right? So browse the file directly. You can do cat dot bash rc, right? And remember, cat just throws everything at once. So obviously all the top stuff will scroll off if the file size is greater than number of lines of my terminal. So like, for example, if I did this, then obviously everything scrolled up. Then what you can do is you can pipe a command. So pipe is this, um, what is this thing called? It's basically the shift backslash. Okay, that's the thing. We just call it pipe. I forget what the character is called. If you pipe it and now put less, so what is happening is the output of this command is going as an input to this command, because these are actually C programs, right? So cat is a C program, less is a C program which has been compiled. So it's when you type less command name, the argument goes as the input, but you can send the argument through this pipe as well. And you can do the same thing with more. So you do cat. So a lot of times we do post processing, and we want to do a series of commands on a file, and you can keep doing this. You do a cat, you do a less, you do sed, awk, and all that in one command. You can do that, and it'll just take one output to the other, and so on. So, oh, just let me show this. Bash RC, and you pipe it with less. So you can see now it is going scrolling page by page like you did with less. Okay. So that's the pipe command. Size of the file, I think I showed you when you do ls minus l, this size here, over here, that 328, that's this file in bytes. Okay. So you can see size of files as bytes. There are other nice commands like especially du, disk uses. You can see uh, sizes of entire directory contents and all that, but that will do. Creating a new file, you saw that in order to create a new file, I just created touch new, so it'll create a 0-byte file, and then you can start editing it. But you can start editing it right away as well. Stat, actually I don't use this command a whole lot. So yeah, it gives you all the timestamps, so you can use this. But like I said, this is, I think, more if you are, a system administrator maybe. So for example, if I do stat downloads, then yeah, it just gives you, these are uh, timestamps on when it was modified, what is the access type, what is the device inode. These are a little bit Linux kernel language, inode blocks and all that, so I don't think you need to worry about that here. Okay, so what is the next one? Start. Okay, make directory. So if you want to make a directory, so maybe here we can do that as an exercise. Like as I said, in your home directory, you have all this desktop documents and downloads and music and all that. You can create a folder called labs here, labs here. So let's call it lab. So I've already done it, so I can delete. So just like make directory, you can do rm directory too. Instead of rm minus rf, you can do rm directory. And see, it says rm directory is not empty. If it is not empty, then I have to do rm minus rf lab. So then it deletes it. So here you can make a library, make a directory. So mkdir lab, right? So if you go cd lab, obviously there is nothing here. So let's make another directory called lab1, which will be today's lab. So lab1, and go to cd lab1, and then you can make more directories here and so on. Okay. So, and typically I like to, put a date stamp. Something if I'm doing on a regular basis on a date stamp, you can put a date, put a date in the file name itself. So I think make directory is, you can make directory in a row with the option as well. Okay. CP is the copy command. So if I want to copy, okay, so let's go to lab. And let's say in the lab folder, I'm going to create a models folder and keep the models in my folder for whatever reason, if I want to access it or do anything. But when we are doing the lab, you need to keep the model specified in our root directory, because I don't want people to copy it, make changes, and then come, sir, this is not working. So I'm just showing this as an example. So let's say I create make directory models. Sorry, not moodles. Okay, it's a good place to show you another command. So I made a mistake. Instead of making a directory models, I did models. So what the way to rename files is move mv. So you move file, so you can literally move this file to somewhere else, but you can just do source file and destination file name, and it will just rename it. So if I do models and I say rename it to models, and then now you should see it turn into models. If I go to models, okay, now here I want to copy a my model file from the technology directory, which is in the root file. So we'll give you these file directories and all that as we are going along. So you copy this file. So let's copy this cp, and you remember we have from the root directory we have project 2020, and in this we have the EDA folder, and in this you go to technology, and scn4m sub m is the only directory, and in this there is a models folder. In this there is 3 other folders. Let's go to nom, and in this there are 2 files. If I want to copy just the nmos, I do nmos dot sp, and then I do dot. Dot means it'll keep the source file as the same name. And if I do that and I do ls, you can see now that model file is copied here. You can open it and edit it if you want and all that, right? So, and you can see that in Vim, one nice thing is that it actually recognizes this as a spice file and does this nice color coding. So it's kind of nicely readable. If you want to copy all the files, you can do the same thing. And but instead of doing nmos, you can do star and do dot. Then it'll copy both the files, nmos pmos.p. Okay, you can do pmos.p. Okay, and as I was showing you that you can do up arrow key and down arrow key and see the command. There is another way. You can type history. Okay, you type history, it shows you all the history of the commands you have typed in. Let's say I want to repeat one of the commands. Let's say I want to repeat this command here. You can type exclamation and the number on the command list here, which is 184. And you do that, it'll repeat that command again. Obviously I already had the files. So for example, let's say I removed these files. I want to remove all the files, then I do rm star, which you should not do at all. Maybe I shouldn't show you. And then I remove pmos.sp. It's saying, do I want to remove? Yes, yes. So I have no files. I said, oh, I just want to copy them all over again. Then you do 184, which is this command here again, and then it'll copy back again those files. Okay. So that's CP and move to rename, copy and rename files. I think these all. Search a file, find command, I'll skip it as this is a little bit advanced. Okay, grep. This is a really useful command you guys should know. So, okay, since we have the model file here, this will be a good one. So you want to find out what the TOX of this model file is. You know that it is a, what do you call it? Text file. So you can actually do greps. So greps is, so you know that the variable is called TOX. So you type TOX nmos.sp, doesn't show anything. That's because it's capital. So if you want to make it case insensitive, then you do -I, then do tox. Okay. So you can see it actually prints the line which has this, but it's not, you can have, so let me show you something. This is not searching for words, it is searching for these characters. So these characters, so let's say this was not tox, but it was detox. I don't think uh, the CMOS wants to get detox, but if there was a detox here, it'll still print this out because tox is in also the word detox. So let me show you. So let's see here. You can see there is the word version, right? So I don't have to type version. I can do grep. If I don't want case insensitive, then I want to search the exact cases. Then I do version and mos nmos dot sp, and then you can see it's highlighting that it found this version here. And if this was, there were more, there was a word called versions, there was a word called verse, there's a word called versi, it will all print, right? It's not trying to isolate. There are ways to isolate. So there are options in grep where you say I want only isolated words. You can do that as well. So that way, if you're not remembering the whole word, you can actually type just parts of it. Like, for example, you don't know if it is tox or sox or dox or cox, then you can just say, you want to just search the word ox everywhere, then you can say case insensitive ox, and then you see it still prints out this thing. Now, let's say you want to search for um, what is another parameter like gamma, right? So you can do the same thing, and you don't know if it is gamma or it's amma or it's ma. So at least search for, try gamma first. Uh, okay, there is no gamma. Try like m. It's not there. So gamma is not a parameter here. This is a derived parameter actually. So you have to probably look into it. Um, and if you want to just see the header part of it, you can just, just see top few lines. That'll figure out a lot of things. So let me clear this. So you do head nmos.sp, and you can see these are the first 10 lines of the model file, which pretty much gives you everything. It's a level 49, bsim 3v1, nominal temperature 27, tox is 7.6 nanometer. VT, yeah, so if you want to find out VT or NCH, you can just grep them as well. So you can do grep, and if you don't remember if it is VTH0 or VT or VTX, then you can just type VT and mos.p, and then you can see it actually gives every parameter which has a VT inside it. So you have VTH0, DVTs, DVT1s, PVT0s, and so on. Okay. All right, I think we covered a lot of it, most of it. Option -8 to display line numbers. Good to know. See, like I said, I never use this, but so grep -n. So if you have a really large file, it is really helpful because if you have like a 30,000 line file, this is really helpful because you can do grep -n. Let's say n. Let's look at something down below. So let's say cj nmos.sp. So you can see it says these are in line 37. So for example, if you have a model file, let's say hypothetically the model file was like 40,000 lines. If you type VI, it'll take forever to load in. But if you did this and you found out that, oh, it's actually on the line 37,450, you can open it saying VI plus, in this case, it's only 37 nmos.sp. It'll straight go to that line. You can see it straight goes to that line. So that way, if you have a really large file and you want to go to that line, you just do that. That way it'll not load the entire file, it'll load the whole thing in cache, and it'll be much faster basically. Okay, so that's grep -n. To search string within all files present in the current directory. Yeah, so like I said, you can use the wildcard everywhere. So you can do grep. So let's say you want to find out Um, let's go to another directory here. Uh, connecting it. Your session still should be there, so you can see. Yeah, looks like it was my problem, some internet problem on my side. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Um, yeah, so let's go to this.
I think they're down now.
Oh, is it down?
Yes.
No, I'm able to work. Yeah, sometimes they go really slow. Maybe it's, yeah, it's,
Fail to connect server.
you're not able to, yeah, let me just, yeah, so you can grab all the files in a directory or directories, actually, series of directories as well. So let me show you one example. Okay, let's continue here. So there's, like as I said, we are going to go through the Linux and Vim first, and then second half, Santanu is going to start the spice. Okay, so there are a lot of CPP files, this thing. So let's do this. So let's say I want to find out all the includes in a .cpp and hash includes in a CPP and all that. So you do grep -i, so make it case insensitive. But now you have to put a code because a hash otherwise will get referenced as a, um, so you can see it's all the files with all the hash includes. is printed out. So let's say you want to find out, you have a big spice file, you want to find out all the capacitors, you can give grep with capacitors and regular expressions and parse this like that. So that's how actually tools are written for parasitic extractions and all that. So you can do all that. So let's say in a tickle file, I don't know what the header for a tickle file is. Um, yes, no header here. Yeah, so let's say you want to find all the PDF files were referenced in a tickle file. So you can do something like this, -i star.pdf. So any file ending with PDF in all the tickle files. So do star.tickle. Really? How about if I just do PDF? Okay, for some reason, yeah, dot actually, yeah, dot is considered as a any while. So yeah, so if you want to see all the PDF files have referenced in, for example, this windows.tickle file. So, you know, when you do sudo and it brings up this doc folder, and so those PDFs are what I have put here. So if you're doing a tickle programming and you're trying to find out which files I put in, you can just do a grep and search it. Delete files I've already showed. rm file begins with dash. Don't worry about this right now. Rm minus R I've showed. Man command you're probably not going to use a whole lot, but if you have any questions about a certain command, you can find all you want by doing man. So let's say you want to find out everything about the ls command, so you can do man ls. I guess it is man rm, let's say. Okay. Oh, man is not there at all. Man tail. Yeah, maybe see man 7 ls. It may be not available in this. This is getting disconnected. Maybe it's not available on these terminals, but man pages are basically manual pages for command. So you can type man, the command name, and it'll go. Yeah, I think these guys are trying to save money. So yeah, I just hopefully, you know, we won't see these slow issues. If a lot of you are seeing any slow issues or anything like that, let me know and I'll uh, tell tell Gautam. So this is searching a keyword in man pages. When we cover VI, I'll show you the searching part of it. Okay, that's it. And this is a summary. So I think that covers. Okay, so I added a example BAS RC in the repo and I pushed it. So all of you now go to this folder, the GitHub repo folder, the SI 2021-03. So Sandhya, just go to this folder and then do a git pull. Obviously, I am already up to date, so it'll show that. For you, you should see the Bash RC example come in, and it'll show you all the data for that. So just raise your hands once you're done with it. I'll just wait for you guys to do the update. And once you're done and you have the Bash RC example, just raise your hand. Just cd into that repository directory and do git space pull, P-U-L-L, like here. Sandhya, have you done it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Just wait. So everyone else also do that. So you should see the Bash RC example. This is a test for like when we make changes, how to update your Git repo. How come nobody else? Are you guys having problems or what's going on? Just raise your hand. Ashwini is saying same issue with mine. Yeah, so you just deleted it. All or those don't have Barsi file. No. Everyone just do a update right now. Okay. I'm just showing you this as an example, but that way everyone knows that next time I want to do it for everyone, they need to know. So everyone do a git pull and let me know if they have the basrc file in that directory. Just raise your hand, okay? Come on, it's just one command with 2 words in it. How come only 4 hands up? What about the rest?
Sir,
Everyone, yeah.
sir, while pushing our like any work into that Git repo for the first time, so is it going to ask us for permission like our emails and passwords?
No, it is only if you're trying to push it to the end. None of you will have to do that unless you're doing your own JIT to do your own labs. That's
Yes,
a
sir.
separate thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that
But
one you
how
have to
to?
set it. And I showed you right yesterday how to set it. Just follow that instruction. It will show you
Okay,
how
sir.
to do JIT global. After that, you'll be able to do it.
Okay.
What about the rest? There's only like 8 hands up. Are you guys not able to do it?
Sir, now it is showing that failed to connect to server.
Uh, no, that is for which one? You are inside or you failed to
Sir,
connect server for?
I am disconnected. I am trying to connect now. It is showing failed to connect to server.
Okay. So here is the thing. So I think I asked him to kind of raised the they have these machines which are floating. So I asked to raise the number of floating machines. So what might have happened is some of you might have got shut down. So just go to your this page, the dashboard. In your dashboard, just reload your dashboard. And if you see there is no terminal here, and there is this play button is black and this is black, that means your system is shut down. So just hit the play button again and reconnect. So your terminal would have been gone, but uh, you should. I don't know why it's shutting down. So uh, but hopefully he'll solve it. These things won't happen more often. Just one second. I'm just going to message. So I'll repeat again. All of you have the basrc example in this folder here. So those of you who have by mistake deleted the .basrc, you go to your home directory, cd, just type cd wherever you are, just type cd, enter, and then you do cp si 2021-03-cmos-vlsi, that's the directory, and you can use tab to complete it. And you do ba tab, it should complete this one. Well, you have to type exa, and then the destination file name should be .bashrc. Do this and you should have a .basrc, and after that just open a new terminal and all your paths and everything should be set. So just do this and put your hands down if that worked. And yeah, I thought I was recording you. Okay, I'll just quickly repeat what I said so that way it's just captured in the recording. So in order to open a file, you do vim bashrc, and you like I said, when you open a file, it's what's called in command mode, right? So you can't enter any characters here. Any character you type, they are actually commands for vi. So for example, if I want to and just to browse the file, you can just use um, the cursor arrows keys to go up and down. If you want to go to the first line, you can type shift:1, that is the first line. If you want to go to the end of the file, you do shift G. So if you do shift G, you are at the end of the line. And if you want to enter some data here, uh, uh, like let's say you have a cursor here, you want to go to a new line, you want to add a new line to the bottom and then enter, then you press O. O is go to the new line. Now you can type here, whatever you want to type. If you are in that line and you want to start typing, you type I and then start typing, and you can type that. Okay, so that's how you enter data. And if you want to delete a line, just type DD, repeat it, and it deletes a line. If you made a mistake and you want to undo the last command, you type shift:U, use the command to undo it. And you can keep doing this. There is a depth in the history. Whatever is that depth, you just keep doing shift:U, shift:U, and it'll just keep doing that. Okay. And if I want to see the line numbers, you can um, do shift:set NU, which is basically set number, and you can see the number of the files. And you actually can go to a particular line by doing shift:, let's say 117, you'll go to 117. If I want to come back to, let's say 123, I can go shift:123, I can do that. And I showed you how to delete a line. Now if you want to delete two lines, then you type 2DD. So you see two lines were deleted, and I'll undo it, so then I have that. If I want to delete three lines, then I do 3DD. Okay, then three lines got deleted. If I want to copy a line, let's say I want to copy this line and paste it, it's yank and paste in VI language. So you do YY, yeah. So wherever your cursor is, you do YY and then you do P. So you see that line got copied and got pasted right after that line. Okay. Now, if I do, let's say I copy this line where my cursor is, I do YY and I want to print it on top. Then I do Shift P. It is actually printed on top. Well, it looks same because it's the same line. And you can do the same thing too by copying from somewhere and printing it here. Let's say I want to copy from here. So I do YY and then I come here and then I do P. Okay. Or I can do delete and copy here. I do delete. So DD and then I go here, go P. So that's you're deleting from another line and you're coming here and printing it. Okay. And you can undo all this by doing shift U and all that. And if I want to delete, let's say I want to delete a bunch of lines and from line number to line number. So like, let's say I want to delete these 5 lines or 6 lines which I have. So I can do 120, that's the starting line number, comma, the last line number 126 space D. Okay, that deletes the line from um, uh, all the lines. And let's say I want to copy the lines 109 from 109 to 119 and paste it from 119 onwards. So I can do shift colon 109 comma 119 and then space copy after the line 119. So you can see it just got copied from here to here. And let's say I say, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have copied this. You can copy this. Obviously, you can undo it later on if you want to copy from. So let's say now you want to copy from here to the end of the line. So obviously, you can use that line number to line number command. Another easy way, if it is till the end of the line, is D and Shift G till the end of the line. So delete till the end of the line. Okay. Okay, now I'll show you how to just read an entire file into the present cursor position. Okay, so let's say, so I have the BASRC EDA, which I told you to append to your BASRC, right? So most of you have done it. Those of you haven't, maybe can do it now. So what you do is you do shift colon R. R is read a file. Now you can use the same kind of bash type of shortcuts here as well. So I want to start from the home directory. So I type tilde, I do forward slash, and my directory is SI. I can do tab, it'll complete it. And then I do bash RC, then I do tab, and it says I have 2 files. Which one do you want to copy? And I want to do the EDA. I just hit enter. Okay, and you see the whole thing. Oh, actually, yeah, you can. I thought the SRCDC was the um, what do you call it? The 4 lines I gave you. It's actually all the paths. So actually, this will work too, but don't do this. Just do the 4 lines. But this is the way I just showed you how to read an entire file into VI if you want to. Okay. Maybe I'll put that 4-line code also in the GitHub later on. Okay, so I think I showed you how to insert, delete, and so this is showing, please show the alias command. Yeah, these are the alias commands. So it's alias, the new command name equal to single quotes, whatever option you want to give, end it with a code. So what will happen is from now on, when you type L, it will do ls minus cf and so on. Actually, I don't know what cf is. Soumya, is that a question or what are you asking? Okay, how can we do select all? I don't know why you want to do this, but if you want to do it, you go to, one way to do it is you go to the top of the line, you do V is visually select. So you can see as I am, okay, before I do select all, first I should show you how to select something. So I showed you how to copy a line, right? Now, if you want to do, so let me go to the end of this. So let's say, let me do this. So, okay, let's say I want to copy this $netgen and I want to append it here. Okay, after this. So essentially what I want is this. I want netgen underscore home and then slash project home and all that. Let's say I want to do that. I don't want you to do it, but this is just an example. So what you can do is you can do V. V is visually selecting it, and then um, okay, then select all you want to. So netgen home select, and then you press Y. Y is basically uh, doing a copy of what you have selected. Then you go to the top and you can do P. Okay, so you can see right after the equal, it printed whatever you copied. Okay, so that is selectively copying it. And then one beauty about VI is you can actually do column copy, where you can do Control V, and you can actually select columns and print columns as well. So this is actually pretty powerful when you're doing a lot of text processing. Um, okay, and now if you want to do select all, that's probably a command to do that. But the way I do it is go to the first line and do V and do Shift G. It goes to the end of the file, and you do Y. You have copied everything. Now you print it wherever you want to print it. Okay. You can find other ways to select. I'm pretty sure there are other ways to select it as well. Ashwini, please repeat command, copy command. So it is there. I mean, I've repeated it already like, God, I mean, so you go to your home directory, you do cp si bash rc example and dot bash rc. Okay. Yeah, just follow the tutorial. This is, I'm just doing it because a lot of you are still getting stuck. So just follow the tutorial. And this is recorded, we'll share it. So you'll have it for your reference as well. Because we have to just get on with our labs, right? I mean, if you have some genuine, like a lot of you have some genuine problems, we'll solve it. But some of you just have to put some of that extra effort, right? Otherwise, we'll just be stuck here forever. Okay. So let me see what else I want to cover. Bash RC. Yeah, search. So that was I select. Oh, actually, same thing. If you want to delete words, and so if you just want to delete a word, you can do DW. Like you can see, I deleted it and just did just one word. But obviously, there are some things. If you have an escape character, for example, you have a dollar here. You'll see if I do DW, it'll just delete the dollar, right? Because that's an escape character, so it is just one word. Now if I want to do it, then I can do DW after netgen and it'll delete. Sorry, that was D shift N. So so some of the commands are can be concatenated in the sense, right? I showed you, right? So if you are here, let's say your cursor is here, you want to go to the end of the line, you do shift 4, which is dollar, right? Shift dollar, you go to the end of the line. You can actually do that to delete from here to the end of the line too. So you can do uh, D shift dollar. So you see it deleted everything from that cursor position to the end of the dollar, end of the line, I mean. Okay. So that is deleting a word and copying. Okay. What else? Okay. Search. Search is when you're in command mode, not in insert mode. When you're in command mode, you do / and whatever you want to search for. So for example, I want to search for export. Obviously, it'll show all this. And you can keep doing N as in Nancy, so or next. So it'll keep searching all the next words which says export. So you can see and let's say I want to, so like for example, Shwades asked me, can you go back to the alias? So I can search alias and you'll see it goes to there, and so next, and all that, right? So that is search. Okay, let me just check the tutorial. What else I have there? I, A. Okay, I, like I said, is for inserting. A is for appending. For example, if I want to, let's say I want to start appending from here onwards, I would type A, and then from here onwards, I can append it. Otherwise, if I type I here, like for example, if I type, if I was here and I type I, then it will start typing from before S, right? You can see it's typing before S. If I want to type after S, then I want to do A, append mode. If I want to add a line and add, then I do O, okay? So I think it's a lot of commands. Yeah, so just get with the simple one, Y, P as shown, DD, YY, type commands in GUI mode. Uh, 4, I think I showed you this, how to copy a bunch of script. Text and replace is a very powerful one, but it might just overload you right now. So let's do it while we're in part of a lab or something. I just want you to get started right now. Syntax highlighting is automatically done, so don't have to worry about that. Editing files remotely, don't have to worry about that. Save, I showed. Okay, so I think we kind of at least covered the basics. So Vim is like, it's a ocean. I mean, I've been using Vim since 1992, almost 3 decades. It was actually VI only. It's Vim is Vim improved, which is in recent years. But I don't even know, I would say I probably know only like 2% of the Vim commands. I'm not a software programmer. It's mostly programmer driven. So it's a huge, it's very powerful. So, but I'll just leave it at this. This is hopefully a good place for you to just keep going. And then, search. There are a lot of good cheat sheets for Vim available. But what I would suggest is for people who are still, very uncomfortable, just go through these 2 tutorials again. I mean, it's quick. You have access to the labs right now. You have 24 access. Just whenever you are like, oh, I just want to know what this is, just fire up the lab, log into the terminal, and start using it, right? So you have that luxury right now for the next 2 weeks, so just capitalize it. Okay, so I think I'll stop here.